We now have a really big update in regard to a massive contract extension coming for a very promising young player on the Chicago Bears roster. And today's episode of Geek on the Mic starts right now.
Cali to Chi-Town is Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Geek on the Mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Geek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. First and foremost, happy Thursday to all the Bears fans out there. The Chicago Bears were back on the practice field the last couple of days as they prepare for their very tough matchup at Soldier Field on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's go ahead and look at the Thursday's injury report for the Chicago Bears. And obviously, Bears fans, the big concern right now is the three linebackers that did not practice both Wednesday and Thursday. We're looking at Tremaine Edmonds dealing with that groin injury. TJ Edwards has already been out the last couple of weeks dealing with that hand and hamstring injury, and Noah Sewell dealing with that elbow injury. They all did not practice Wednesday and Thursday, so I'm hoping that at least two of those guys are either in limited fashion tomorrow and can really push to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That would be a huge loss for the Chicago Bears defense. I'm anticipating that TJ Edwards will probably be out at least one more week and probably could be available for the Chicago Bears for that Friday matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. But having all three of those guys not practicing the last couple of days is obviously a big deal. But in positive news, both Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon are back on the practice field. Jalen Johnson was actually a full participant for the Chicago Bears at practice today. And then Kyler Gordon is still designated to return, dealing with that calf injury. He was limited yesterday and today. And Ben Johnson made it very clear that they have a clear plan for both Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. Those are going to be two huge additions, two big guys that can come back and really help us in the back end. Don't forget that the Chicago Bears already lead the league in takeaways, and that's without our number one cornerback and number one nickel in Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. I know that guys like Jaquan Brisker are really happy to get those guys back, but obviously the big concern right now is our three linebackers that have not practiced the last couple of days. So Bears fans, when you look at the injury report for both Wednesday and Thursday, what is your biggest concern going into that matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know down below in the comment section. So Bears fans, we actually have a very positive update in regard to a massive contract extension that could be coming this offseason for one of our promising young players, and that is for right tackle Darnell Wright. As we all know, Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears no longer have really that financial flexibility that they had in the previous few years. And that is very common in the rebuild, especially at the end of the rebuild. Some of those bigger contracts that you invested in to really make this rebuild happen are going to start hitting the cap books for the Chicago Bears. But we all know that Ryan Poles and the Bears want to make Darnell Wright's contract extension a priority. He has definitely been playing like a top 5 right tackle, especially this year. When you look at Darnell Wright, he has 10 pressures. He's 7th highest rated run blocker according to PFF, and also according to PFF, he only has allowed 1 sack and quarterback hit all season long. He has been shutting down some of the best edge rushers in the NFL all season long. So I know that Ryan Poles and the Bears want to make his contract extension a priority this offseason. And according to Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune, he gave us a massive update on what a contract extension can look like for Darnell Wright. And what it's sounding like is that the Bears are going to exercise the 5th-year option on his rookie contract. But this is what he had to say, Bears fans. Based on how he's playing, the likeliest scenario for Wright is the team exercising the 5th-year option in his contract and then looking to hammer out a multi-year extension that could be finalized in the spring or over the summer. There won't be any rush to strike a new deal, but the team can save a little money by doing a deal before the season starts, and Wright can lock up security. You're probably looking at a big deal too. It's premature to speculate on numbers with 7 games remaining, but just know there are 6 right tackles with an average annual salary of $20 million or more a year. Wright's contract situation will be the biggest piece of business for general manager Ryan Poles. After that, I'm not sure there's another player the team will want to pay. Bears fans, this is obviously big news, and this is obviously well-deserved for right tackle Darnell Wright. Once again, he's been playing like a top 5 right tackle, and he's doing everything that Ryan Poles expected him to do when he was a top 10 pick a couple years ago for Ryan Poles. So obviously Ryan Poles and the Bears organization are really pleased with his play. He has dealt with some injuries that kept him out over the last couple of years, but this year he's definitely had a huge surgence of being one of the big reasons why this Bears offensive line is one of the best in the National Football League. And just like Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune said, it makes a lot of sense that they're going to just exercise the 5th-year option. And all that does is gives Ryan Poles and the Bears organization just a little bit more time to hammer out a long-term extension. And the Chicago Bears could save some money by making a deal during the offseason prior to the start of the new season. When you look at some of the highest paid right tackles in the National Football League, you look at Tristan Wirfs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is making $28.1 million per year. If I had to guess, Bears fans, Darnell Wright's money value and extension will probably be right in between Lane Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's making $25 million per year, or Zach Tom of the Green Bay Packers. He is making $22 million per year. So I'm expecting Darnell Wright, just due to his lack of Pro Bowl nods and All-Pro nods, and just with the injury history that's behind Darnell Wright, I can see Wright probably making around $20 to $21 million per year, and that takes care of a big piece of the Chicago Bears offensive line. They would have right tackle sewed up for the foreseeable future and just continue to see the ascending player that Darnell Wright is expected to be, especially with Dan Rochar in as the offensive line coach for the Bears. He has made massive strides at that right tackle spot. And then the only problem the Bears would really have is the left tackle spot. Dio Benedict has been a really good run blocker for the Chicago Bears, but his main weakness is still pass protection. So it's going to be interesting to see that if the Bears can get a long-term extension done with Darnell Wright, which that's what is expected in the offseason according to Brad Biggs, then the main focus becomes edge rusher and possibly trying to find a long-term left tackle option on the Chicago Bears offensive line. Once again, as a Bears fan, I am rooting for Dio Benedict. Maybe Dan Rochar is going to be able to develop him the right way and really hone in on his pass blocking skills during the offseason. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Chicago Bears invest in the first couple of rounds in the upcoming NFL draft in possibly a long-term left tackle option, or definitely addressing the edge rushing option as well in the NFL draft. So obviously big news, well-deserved for Darnell Wright. He has to finish off the season strong, and every single week he is showing up, and once again is a huge reason why the Chicago Bears offensive line is one of the tops in the National Football League. So Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section how you feel about the news of a possible long-term extension for Darnell Wright with the Chicago Bears. Do you think it's the right move? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic.